Ah, another beautiful sunny day here in the state of Florida, and what better day than today to just spend it out here at the beach, soaking in these sun rays, maybe having a cold one, watching the waves, and just having a blast. It sounds way better than cleaning the aviary. I'm so glad I'm not having to do that right now. Or am I? Welcome back, guys. Today what we're going to be doing is cleaning the aviary. It is Sunday, and although I wish I could be at the beach right now, that's not really what we have in store for the day. Today's video is going to be a very simple video where I show you a day in the life of cleaning the aviary. Now, there's a few changes that I've done to the aviary since the last video that I did a while back showing you guys the indoor aviary. And one of the biggest changes that I did was that I changed the substance that I use at the bottom of the trays for the birds. In the past, I went through a variety of different substances. I first originally started using, it was pine bark, not bark, but it was the mulch or something like that. And unfortunately, that wasn't very good because it would just kind of splatter everywhere, kind of fly around everywhere and make a huge mess as the birds would move back and forth in the cage. Afterwards, I switched it over to cat litter, but unfortunately that didn't work either, as the cat litter couldn't really stop the odor, and it became a problem with dust. So a lot of you guys would mention in the comments to just use newspaper, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to that method, which I've had used in the past. The only reason why I was staying away from it was because unfortunately it's something that does require a lot more time, and you have to constantly change it on a weekly basis. With the mulch that I was using before, and even with the cat litter, it would pretty much stay clean for about 3 weeks, almost a month, before I would have to change it. And it would absorb very well all of the poop from the birds or all the water that they would spill, and it wouldn't really cause a big odor. But unfortunately, with the paper, it's something that you have to change every single week. So what I like to do to begin the day is I start by folding all of these papers. Once I have every single one that I need for all of the cages, then I'm able to move over into the interior of the aviary and just start rearranging everything around. The first thing that I do is kind of sweep the floors to make sure that I get all of the seeds and dust out of there. Rearrange the cages, which luckily I have them. They're on top of a vase that I made with some wheels, and they're easily moved around from side to side inside of the aviary. And this is great because I have to get to the garage door, which I have to open in order to start moving all of this and start the cleaning. So once I get everything out of the way, I can start cleaning each individual cage, and it is very simple from here. It just takes a lot of time, but it's simple. All you do is you pull your tray out, bring it up to the garbage can, dump it, scrape it a little bit, grab your clean piece of paper, place it on top of the tray, put it back in the cage, and move over to the next one. It's just repetitive movement, and unfortunately it does take a lot of your time. Like I've said before in the past, this is not a simple job. It literally turns into a second job if you have this many birds, because if you're doing this on a weekly basis, not only do you have to feed everyone every day, make sure that they have clean water, enough food, but then you also have to do this cleaning. I would say this is, I don't want to say it's the worst part, but it kind of is the worst part of keeping this many birds, because I love the portions, like the breeding part of it. I love keeping them, raising them, but unfortunately this is the sucky part when you have to sit here and spend 4 or 5 hours cleaning every single cage. But once I get done with all of the trays, then I like to go ahead and move over to the water. All of these water cups and water tubes, they have to be pulled out of the cage, flushed, sprayed down to make sure that you take away any gunk or anything that may be forming around the tube or the water cup. And this is something that I like to do also every week or every 2 weeks. Now, usually what I like to do is, if I'm in a hurry, I'll spray them down the way that I'm spraying it here, just to make sure that I get all that gunk out of the water tubes, and then refill it with water and put it back into the bird cage and do each one consecutively after that. But if I want to do a more extensive and deeper cleaning, what I like to do is I just pull out all of the water tubes, all of the food cups, everything, and I dump it inside of a huge container that I have with some water and bleach. And what this does is I let it sit there for about 1 to 2 hours, and that bleach just kills any bacteria or any germ that these cups may have. Once you're done, you pull it out, give it a good rinse, put it back inside of the bird cage. But for today, just to keep it easy, to keep it simple, all I'm gonna do is individually, one by one, pull out the water tube and the D style cup that I have in every single cage, give them a good spray down, fill it up with water, and put it back inside of each cage. These D cups, I use them for a lot of different things. Sometimes I put sprouted seeds here, sometimes I give them their egg food here. And then eventually towards the end of the week, since I know that I have to clean all of the cages every Sunday, what I like to do by Thursday or Friday is I get that D cup and I fill it up with water. And each cage has water so that the birds are able to bathe. Now, I don't like to do this earlier in the week or right after cleaning and putting the new piece of paper in the tray, because unfortunately when I do this, the birds, they love to bathe, and if you give them the option, they will bathe every single day. And what's gonna happen is that they're gonna bathe so much that all that water spills out of the D cup into the fresh piece of paper that you put on the tray. It mixes with seed, it mixes with some of their poop, and it causes a very bad odor inside of your aviary. So what I've learned by using the paper is that unfortunately you can't give them water every single day to bathe in, but I do offer the water for them from Thursday to Saturday. That way they have towards the end of the week to start bathing. And if the aviary does get a little bit stinky because of that water mixing with seed or poop on the top of the paper, it doesn't matter, because eventually I will change it towards the end of the week. All right guys, now that we're done filling up all of the water and cleaning all of these D cups and water tubes, we're gonna move over to the food. We still have to feed everybody. And I know you're probably wondering, how do I clean their seeds? Now, I put the seeds in a small tray that measures about 8 inches. And this is the type of tray that I like to use to put their seeds in, because it helps with the mess. Since these trays have that grate on the top part, the bird's not able to swing its head left and right like a chicken does, trying to look for seeds, and causes a spill all over the bottom of the cage. They end up wasting food and so on. So I like to use this system for them to give them their food, and it's worked out great. You don't lose as many seeds as you do with a normal D-style cup. What I like to use in order to blow away all of these husks on top is this type of small blower. I bought this on Amazon. It was about, I believe they go from $60 to $80, depending which one you buy. And pretty much it has a fan on the interior, and it blows a good amount of air, and it allows me to just kind of blow away all of these seed husks that the birds eat and leave on the top layers. All right guys, and that's pretty much it for this aviary. Once I'm done blowing all the seeds, I can go ahead and sweep the floors again, make sure that everything is nice and clean, inspect every single cage to make sure that I didn't miss anybody, which has happened in the past. So you got to be very careful when you have this many cages. Look around and make sure that every single cage has the water cup, every single cage has food, because the last thing that you want to do is miss that one cage. And unfortunately, these birds, they have such a fast metabolism that they can't stay very long without eating. Otherwise, they fluff up and they can die. All right, guys, well, this is going to conclude another video. I still have the outdoor aviary and the aviary where I keep all of the birds prior to them molting. I have to go take care of those and clean those out, but we're gonna cut it short here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing. I've said this over and over again. If you guys support the channel and are enjoying the videos, you might as well subscribe. All right, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we will see each other in the next video. Take care.